The first task is to build a template to use in conjunction with the router. The template is used to route out a recessed area down into the tray for the Festool Systainer box feet to sit down into. I'm using Blum hardware drawer slides with blumotion. The blumotion is a soft close feature on the Blum drawer slides. When the blumotion would kick in, my Festool box would keep moving, and inevitably it would end up at the back of the cabinet. So I needed a method to secure my Festool box and decided to use this method here. Now I'm setting up the router to route out using the template into a piece of scrap plywood. And fingers crossed, this will, work the first try. Otherwise, I'll be back and have to modify the template. That's the result of a very dull router bit. I had quite a scare though. I was a little concerned if I might end up with a fire in my vacuum. So I took off the hose, installed the plug, and with the thought that if a fire should break out in the vacuum, the lack of air would put it out quickly. I got lucky this time. Time for new router bits. I'm now cutting the wood for the trays. I need to make 20, and I'll just show the first one being made. That was a close call with a router. So the plan here now is to change out this bushing here for a larger bushing, and I'll use I guess probably a 1/2 inch router bit to removed the majority of the material for the Festool feet, cutouts in the trays, and then come back through with my small router bit and this bushing to clean it up at the end. Now I know from my previous setup that when I have 13.7 millimeters of bit showing above this base plane right here, that's my final depth that I want to be cutting down to, which equals about 7 millimeters of depth being cut down into the tray, the pull-out tray. So I'm going to come and raise the bit up just a little bit. Well, probably about 13 millimeters. And I'll take off 0.7 with the final bit. Alright, I'm at 13.2, 13.15, somewhere in that area. That's close enough. I'll take off the last half a millimeter with the small bit. So now I've taken the hot melt glue gun and glued a strip of wood onto the end here. This is to act as a spacer. I had the original plan that my jig would sit right on top. You can see it's the same size as the pull-out tray, but now I think I want to have an extra piece of wood here in the front to attach my drawer front to. I've kind of changed my mind partway through the build here. So this will space back my jig and allow me to put another piece of wood here in the front of my tray to attach my drawer front to, while still maintaining a 5 millimeter gap between my Festool box and the drawer front. I can highly recommend this Festool dust collection unit with a router. It collects almost 100% of the dust. It is really astounding the difference it makes between having this little piece of plastic on and having it off. So if you can put dust collection at the tool with your router, I'd recommend it. What a difference a sharp new router bit makes. This was cut with a 1/2 inch router bit. I'll finish up all 20 of these trays and I'll do a swap out to the 1/4 inch router bit, extend it out a 1/2 millimeter, and then make that final pass through to have one even cut across the bottom and get into the corners. I'm now measuring for where my Blum drilling template should sit. This is very unusual to have to measure for the Blum drilling template, but since I'm not going to have any sides on this tray, it will just be a flat piece of plywood. I have to do this extra step. And I mean, it's almost not worth it, but I have no good way to drill straight down vertically into that piece of wood. My drill press would probably be a little bit too difficult to get a good setup where I could clamp this tray vertical. On an up-and-coming video, I have built some drawers, and I'll show this Blum template in use the way that Blum had it intended to be used, because this is definitely not how they designed this template to be used. This drill bit holder is another accessory you can buy from Blum that works in conjunction with the orange template. It's for drilling for the screw holes for the release triggers. The drill bit needs to be inserted into the drill bit holder the correct amount so that you don't drill too deep and drill through your material. But it's really nice, this drill bit holder. It has a taper on it which causes the drill bit holder and drill bit to center up inside that drilling template. Here's another hack of mine to make using this template a bit easier. Because again, I'm using the template in a way that it wasn't intended for, I don't have sides on this tray. So these scraps of wood here are being used to act as if I had sides. This way I don't have to measure each time to use the template. When installing screws this small, it's typically best to use a handheld screwdriver, but if you're going to use a screw gun, be certain to turn your torque way down low. So I've already gone ahead with a scrap piece of wood and marked the locations of and drilled the holes for the screws. This template makes drilling into the cabinet very quick and precise. I'm using a 5mm, well it's actually a router bit, that goes with a Festool LR32 kit. It drills a perfect hole with zero tear out in the plywood. The screws here are special screws. They're conformat screws, meant for going into this type of cabinet work. These are 14mm long, but they come in a whole variety of lengths. I still have a lot of work on this project, for example drawer fronts, but I'll come back on a future video and show that being made. Thanks again for watching. Stay safe, have fun on your own project, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye now.